Great, amazing morning to you. Rise and shine up and at 'em. It is Friday. Did you hear what I said? It's Friday. You're officially tuned into Coffee and Conversation with Collette, and I'm Collette, and you all know what I do. I do my curtsy because what did I say? Now, remember, in the whole curtsy concept is like you have this full dress, right? And so you grab the dress, and then it's a genuflect, and so you do that little thing. That's what you do because I show reverence to you because I share with you every week that I know that you can be anywhere doing anything, as a lot of you are. I know you're getting the children ready, and great, amazing morning, young people. Today is a day to be brilliant, even more brilliant than you were yesterday, to make sure your voice matters, to know that you are smart beyond belief. Whatever they teach you, you can grasp that and then some. Don't be afraid to have the conversations in school, to ask the questions, to critically think about what is presented to you on today. And you can debate it. It's okay. That's how we grow and get better. It's not always the best thing just to give the information back the way they give it to you just to get the grade. That doesn't mean that you think. That just means that you follow a process. And that's a great thing too, but we want you to be bigger and better than that. And maybe that applies for us adults as well. I'm just so excited. I mean, we've had a full week with everything. So happy for all of you who came out to the Property Tax Foreclosure Assistance Day yesterday at the Dabo Sheffield Center. We're consistently meeting the goals of helping our residents of Detroit stay in their homes, and that means everything to us. We don't take it lightly at all. So thank you so much. And again, if you need additional assistance, you can give us a call, 313-491-0003. Again, 313-491-0003. Let me just tell you, and you all are so funny because I have these conversations offline that I really want to have on the air, but I don't know what it is sometimes. I want you to feel comfortable. I know we're like besties, right? Like I'm your best friend in your mind, as you are in my mind, right? And I know that when we have these conversations on the phone and via the live was it Facebook's live or whatever, these little, you can see the people and have a conversation with them. When we do that I know it's like our comfortable experience together, but I want us to be able to share them on air. And so a lot of people yesterday told me off the air that they didn't really know what to do with the subject matter. And I thought that was interesting. And I thought it was interesting because if we didn't know how to address the subject matter of the power of rage for black women specifically, why are black women angry, that now rage becomes her, and that was the book from Samaya Katala, coming off of just the clip that we showed of Serena Williams. And it wasn't about the issue of her losing the match. Those are technicalities I share with you. What do we talk about on this show? Symptoms and issues. So it wasn't about that. It was the way that she was managed. It was the way that she was handled. It was the way then that either penalties were imprinted upon her and inflicted upon her, the dialogues of respect that wasn't given. And you heard from a historical perspective from all the other men who had played in the U.S. Open and all these huge Paramount games that the referees didn't treat them that way. That they could pretty much say whatever much more than her calling him a thief, that they said all kinds of things that could be egregious and what that looked like and never got a penalty, or definitely if they got anything was a soft warning, but games weren't removed. And when Serena said, no, I'm going to speak up for myself, I'm going to let you know what my truth is, and this is what it is. Now, that doesn't have to change what you do to me. That's what I want us to get. That me telling you how I feel, me expressing myself, discussing what is real to me might not change how you look at me. If you are in a position of power or influence or leadership, it might not change how then you directly impact me, but I promise you, you're going to think about it. And even more so for me. I gave us a quote, and I thought that it was so profound, and I'm going to give it yet again because it stayed with me. You know how certain things just stay with you? It stayed with me. And so the quote I gave us as I opened up our segment yesterday was, black women are the most disrespected, unprotected, and neglected people in America. And that was from Malcolm X. And so we were coming off of our conversation the previous week, and you all know, remember, Bishop Jasper Williams, in eulogizing our own Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, he made the statement about black women not being able to raise black boys to be black men. And so in Julia Mavo's piece, she said, well, why weren't the black men outraged? Where were the black men in speaking up on behalf of black women, protecting black women, exerting their leadership as they should to be able to change the narrative and the conversation about what it looks like for us in our communities as it pertains to raising children, and specifically black boys? And so then I think we were able to come full circle in that conversation, because a lot of you called in, and I so appreciate that feedback, and said, well, you know what? Maybe black men don't really know that. Black men don't know what that looks like. And maybe the bigger conversation is black men don't know how to love. And so take that from last week, because we put these things together, right? So stick a pin in that. And then yesterday, we talked about the rage that black women experience. That in society, the rage, what does it look like? Trying to fight for position, trying to fight to grow up the corporate ladder, trying to fight to be better, because black women are raised to be better. Black women are raised to take care of your households, take care of your children, that you're going to lead, you're going to be smart, you're going to be professional. Whatever it is that you choose to do, you're going to be successful in that. And we had the conversations that women coddle their sons and raise their daughters. So then when it comes to us looking at it as adults and what that leadership looks like, how that guidance comes through, then how are we equally yoked? So then you get a dynamic where a man feels that I'm just a man because I have male parts and I'm defined as one, and so whatever I say is supposed to go. Doesn't mean I've had the experience, doesn't mean that I've had the insight, doesn't mean I've had the direction or the wherewithal, but just because I am male, that I make the final decisions in the household, I control the money, I do this, me. And so you as the woman, you've been indoctrinated to believe that, okay, because women are taught you're seen and not heard. Women are taught that you're supposed to be demeaning, your demure position, and you're always supposed to be accommodating, and you're supposed to be welcoming, and you're supposed to set the tone in the home that makes everyone comfortable. And while you're doing all this stuff for everybody else, that your voice is silenced. And so when you do articulate how you feel, heaven forbid you have a higher tone. I told you I was having a conversation with a gentleman, and you all know when I get excited, my pitch raises. I get excited. But I was told that because my tone was what it was, I was being disrespectful. And I just said, well, that's really interesting, because the bigger conversation about all that is, where does that come from black men in leading in black communities and black households? Because we were all taught something from who? From the majorative class who set the tone, who set the conversation. It was white men who determined how women should act and look. Women are supposed to be in the home, we're supposed to act a certain way. And so then all we did is just take all that and pull that in, and I think it added some extra things that totally didn't benefit who we are as people of color in these United States. Because have you ever asked yourself where that came from? Have you ever asked where the thought of how women are supposed to act in your tone and what you're supposed to do? And then when black women blow up, when we finally get fed up, oh, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with you? Because why? That's the rage. And so the New York Times, I told you, gave a piece. Wall Street Journal gave a piece. Washington Post gave a piece. And it talks about all women can relate to what Serena was going through. No matter what, you can relate to it, because you finally were able to erupt and exercise your voice, and now people want to say something about it. How's that? Even the people closest to you. And so that's where we left off yesterday. And I even shared my experience with you all about handling this ongoing situation with my dad. I tell you, I before it's all over, I know I should be in law school. I just know, because I play one in my life every day. But that I had the courtesy of having a conversation with a gentleman who I know he believed that because he worked in the Social Security office and that he pushed papers around, that he had more of an understanding of their law than me. I'm very clear. Because when I spoke with him several months ago, he thought, I know, I could tell in his tone that he was being very calming to me and trying to make sure I understood what he was saying. And so when he called me back, because he's told me, I'm shocked. I really don't understand. I'm confused because I received your request for a hearing from the administrative judge, and I thought that we had a conversation several months ago. And so I just want to be clear why you submitted the request for the administrative judge, because I thought I told you. I said, well, that's really cute, sir, and I appreciate that you believe that you have an expertise for everything that you review in that space of you pushing papers in that office, in that municipality, as it pertains to my situation. But are you saying that I don't have a right? So are you suggesting to me that I have to agree with what you said, and in that agreement, that just ends it? If I were to listen to that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't have been able to get retroactive duty disability from my dad 32 years later when no one said it would be done. When I sat in courtrooms full of white folks, white mediators, white judges, white lawyers, when everybody told me no, it couldn't be done. You think I believe that? That's why I tell you all on today that if you don't believe you can, no one else will. And it's the Spirit of God in you, and however you identify God, that is my truth. How is it done, God? God in me, worked through me, because I believe that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So you weren't going to sit and tell me that I wasn't going to right or wrong for my dad some 35 years later. And it happened. And it's going to happen again with Social Security. So as I was so calmly and telling him, so no, sir, because I have that right, then I want to request a hearing before the administrative judge. And you shouldn't have a problem with that, right, Mr. Grant? You shouldn't have a problem with that, because that's the process, that's the opportunity that I have. And so if indeed the judge agrees with you in your suggestion to me, then that's validation for you. Is that correct, sir? But I do have the right. So you're not suggesting that I don't have that right. I can't exercise that right. Oh, no, 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 no. So then you push back, because then you assume that I don't know. And so that's the problem. Then heaven forbid if I speak up and I use my voice and I let you know that I know and that you can't deny me that opportunity. But a lot of people think that that's rage, that's the anger in black women. No, that's just me being assertive. Because I've realized that if I'm not assertive, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how that assertiveness then leads into servitude for a lot of us. We're going to talk about what that then anger, or the power that I believe is behind anger, can be pushed into leadership. Got an amazing example at the 8 o'clock hour. And then after we go to and all the callers, all the lines are lit, I see it. We're going to do a clip. During the clip, he's in the building. I told you Speak Rock was going to be back. You know, that's our hot Friday. It's the second Friday of every month. It is the goal to have Speak Rock in the building. Because, you know, you got to have a male's perspective, an enlightened male perspective, a God-fearing male perspective. So he's going to be in to spend the rest of the time with us to have a conversation and to chop it up and to offer his insight into the scenario. But I want to go to a clip right now. Why are black women so angry? Take the time, pay attention. We'll be back for the conversation.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
I think about all that black women do for society and how the thank you that we get is just constant disrespect, how we're not protected, how we're sexualized and fetishized in the media, how it's kind of like we're abandoned.
And society does not have a black woman's back. She didn't even do anything. She just was being black.
When you're born and you're born a woman, you already have one thing stacked against you. You're born and you're a black woman, you have both of those things stacked against you. You just have to work hard as fuck. And there's no system in place to help you thrive.
It's really sad to think about how young it is that we all internalize those things. I may not have had the words for it, but I knew that I wasn't going to be accepted being a 4C, you know, dark skin, thick black girl. Like, I just knew that.
People in elementary school who would call like me a monkey or something like that, and it's sad that we like to think that we've come so far, but we haven't.
It's mind-boggling, the fact that black people in general, and then also black women, are still being compared to animals.
I feel like I'm a very strong person, but I'm always afraid to show that I'm too strong, because I'm always afraid that it will play into that stereotype, and all of a sudden I'll be looked at as masculine because of these stereotypes that are put upon black women.
Black women should be quiet into themselves and sort of have their heads down and just like kind of try and blend in. You are not allowed to be a bigger woman, tall, and also stand up tall and be confident. It's just like not allowed. The thing that makes me most angry is the fact that I feel like no one really has my back except other black women. It's really tough to feel alone in a fight to be seen as equal and just as successful and just as amazing as anyone else.
The variety of black women is really important in media because we are seen as only one thing, and that's sassy, or we have too much attitude, and we can never be anything else without that. There's no such thing as an angry black woman, but a black woman who happens to be angry.
I'm gonna do everything that I can to then channel that very deep pit of anger that I have into something to show you that that's not who I am, that's not who I've ever been, that's not who Leslie is, that's not who Michelle Obama is. Like, I get that that bullshit is out there, so then I'm like, what can I do with my work, with my art, to change that, to change the narrative, to tell people that, you know, we're more than this.
For the young black girl out there, I would say think about all the things that we contribute every day to society and how we built this country on our backs, like we did it. So think about how, even though that's a tragedy, think about how awesome we are. Like, all the shit that we have gone through, we still win the gold medal. I mean, come on.
You are worthy, you are beautiful, and no one gets to take that away from you. Like, the minute that you let somebody else dictate who you are and your beauty, like, you've already given that to them. I don't get, like, you don't get my worth, it's my worth.
And just because someone lays down rules of what is beautiful, that doesn't mean that you have to agree with that.
I think that it is important, though, that when you are feeling that intensely about any kind of injustice or some kind of, you know, people belittling you for something that you don't deserve to be belittled for, it is important to be in that moment when you feel it, but then I don't want to live in it.
So I'm so appreciative to BuzzFeed for that clip, and I hope that you all were able to get a different perspective of why black women are angry and what were some of the thoughts. You got them. The young lady said that I have a fear of being perceived as strong and masculine. So I have a fear of that. And so I'm asking us to delve a little deeper, to think a little more, to really assess where these thoughts are even coming from, how they were even birthed into us. A fear of being strong would then denote that, I guess, in your docile state, in your submissive state, that you could still accomplish and be who you are supposed to be in this life. Or maybe that you don't even think that you have the opportunity to be such a person because of what society tells you can be, specifically based on skin color and the like and all those other things that we use to oppress ourselves. And that's people of color. But I'm just not going to have this conversation by myself. He's in the building. Let's welcome Speak Rock this morning. Great amazing morning, Rock. How are you?
Great morning. I am doing well.
We're so happy to have you here at Coffee and Conversation.
Yes, coffee and conversation. Where else would you want to be?
That's what I say. Now, did you all get what he said? Where else would you be? So, Rock, you kind of got an overview of what we've been talking about for the last day or so.
Yes.
Any general thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the subject matter that you're speaking on is very powerful.
Okay.
Being that I'm a husband and a father of 3 daughters myself.
3.
Yes.
Y'all get that? Eins, zwei, drei, uno, dos, tres. You got them. You got
Yes.
3 of them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's important to me that I build them up and equip them to be able to operate in this world. And if it takes being, as you said, assertive and you making your voice be heard, speaking with intelligence. Look, if someone's offended because you're operating in these characteristics,
Yes.
that's more so of a them problem.
Nice.
Okay.
Did you get that? So whose problem is it really, Rock? Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, I can't have weak women in the Speak Rock household.
Nice.
For a variety of reasons, because that'll lead to weak generations to come. So therefore, but they're not that. They're naturally bold. They're naturally strong.
Nice.
So my daughters, they operate, including my wife, they operate out of who they are.
So stay there for a minute. I'm gonna go back a little bit because everyone wants to set the tone. But how were you indoctrinated in this role of being this black man in society, and then how to include a black woman?
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you like this: the indoctrination starts at an early age. I mean, what African American male would sit there and tell you that, unless it was for unfortunate reasons why they couldn't have a strong female presence in their life. If you're anything like me, if you came up in the 70s and you, if it wasn't at home,
Yes.
it was at church.
Yes.
If it wasn't at church, God willing, it was at school.
Yes.
Wherever it was, there was a strong black woman who was there to pull your ear if need be.
Yes.
To
Yes.
say, hey, listen,
Yes.
Maybe pinch the
Right.
fat meat of your
or grab
arm.
that little part of your elbow, you remember, and usher you around like that. Y'all know what that is. I do it now. The little kids like, come here, and grab the little elbow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But that kind of pulling,
Yes.
it was done out of love. It was done out of care. Okay, I can name a number of women who was not my mother that invested in me to say, you're better than what you are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see to it, be it with a hot meal,
Right,
be it
right.
with words of affirmation, words of kindness, whatever the case may be. So the indoctrination to interact with women, okay? When you see what women, if they were a homemaker,
Yeah.
the variety of tasks that they had to accomplish.
Yeah.
If it was coming to check on you at school when you weren't at your best,
Yes.
and ensuring that you didn't get expelled,
Yes.
whatever the case may be, the black woman was there to ensure that you stayed
Sure.
on the straight and narrow.
Sure.
So you grow up with a love and respect, and truth be told, you learn to not love and respect from other entities, other areas. So I think you got something
Wait,
on
stay
that.
there, Rock. Stay there. Did y'all hear what he said? So we're then talk because let me just say, you all remember Big Mama, the whole
Yes.
Big Mama concept, and a lot of us still have Big Mamas now, and everyone knew she was strong.
Yes.
You expected that from Big Mama. You expected the direction from Big Mama. You expected the leadership from Big Mama. Everyone fell in line, and that's where we accepted that strength from and didn't have a problem. Even if Big Mama, if there was a pop around, he knew it.
Yeah,
But then all of a sudden it changed.
yeah.
It just everything just changed. So Rock, what happened? And then we have this angry black woman. So what? And I know, and we're gonna get to the lines. I know we don't have a whole lot of time. This is not even something I just want to set it out there. The disclaimer that we can have this answer overnight, but it's a part of an ongoing conversation I think that we need to have because we were strong, and everyone in our communities knew that we were strong, and women were rewarded for being strong, and they
Absolutely.
still had husbands. They still had life partners in their strength, but now we don't have that.
Well, a lot of it comes from mimicking. And what I mean by mimicking, and I'm
Okay.
going to get a little possibly controversial
I want
here,
that. I want that.
but this is my opinion, and
Okay.
I'm going to speak it, and I challenge anyone to prove me wrong.
Okay, Rock.
Here's the deal. The African American male or the African, upon entering this country, the reverence and the respect levels was always there for the African woman.
Yes.
What happens is that you had an example from elsewhere, so call it, slave owners who, look, history is on my side when I say this. The European male had the European woman,
Yeah.
their spite, their disagreement, their adversity was with the European male.
Right.
So when you look at it, the European male dominating over the European woman,
Yeah.
not allowing them to be on equal footing.
Yes.
Guess what? If you're in a slave situation for years,
Yeah.
decades,
Yeah.
what do
Yeah.
you want to mimic?
Yeah.
What do you see?
Yeah.
So you pick that up,
Yeah.
and you try to run with that and emulate that. But what happens is that you quickly, well, I can't even say you quickly find out that it's a terrible thing, because I must admit, and I always let everybody know that I was involved in an era, in a decade, where the disrespect of the black women ran rampant
Yeah.
within our culture.
Yeah.
When you look at the music, and it bothers me when people try to absolve themselves from that decade.
Yeah.
So you talk about the 80s and the
Yeah.
90s of
Yeah.
hip hop.
Yeah.
It was celebrated. And some of the same people that we've made rich by buying their albums and supporting their movements and supporting their platforms, these were the main perpetrators of disrespecting black women.
Absolutely.
So here's what's funny.
Okay.
So we're talking about slavery, then we're talking about, we fast forwarded and got to the 80s and the 90s, and now all of a sudden, we're now just trying in 2018, trying to say, let's do better by black women.
Yeah.
But watch this. We're still having this conversation, though. We're still having this
And wait,
conversation.
and stay there. And not
Yeah.
everyone is agreeing to this notion that we need to do better by the black woman, though. And I guess, and maybe that will allow us to bring in the dynamic of how now black women believe that they're going to take what is perceived as the disrespect from black men and make it work for them. So you have these women like Amber Rose and the slut walk. So
Yeah.
what do they say? I'm going to take the power back. So if this is how you perceive me, I'm going to own my sexuality. I'm going to own my femininity. I'm going to own all of these things. But women, okay, I'm going to tell y'all, stop. Stop it. That's not who we are. You don't want to be passed around from man to man. You don't want to be objectified. I don't care what you think that, okay, well, because he paying me. Stop. That's what property is. You might as well just set up a house and just get sold to the highest bidder. Like, do you get what we're doing right now? But everybody's on Instagram. You got people that got 200,000 followers on Instagram, and all you see is booty body shots. And that's it. And then you can, what they say, swipe up if you want some more. You can arrange a date or whatever the case may be. We've resorted to that.
Yeah.
Because then women say, okay, well, he's going to pay for it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm going to take my power back. So in my rage and my anger, because I haven't been able to have a suitable relationship, maybe I didn't even know what love looked like. Maybe my dad wasn't even in my household. Okay. So I'm looking for validation from a man. So if I got to use my body to get your attention, so be it. And so at the end of the day, if all you got to give me is some money, because then there's something happening with you that there's not a connection anymore. I don't want the connection from you. I don't want the heartstrings. I don't want that dynamic. So I'll just pay for it. That's what we're going to do. So I like what I see. I'm going to present to you what it is. Because I'm angry now, but I got to get something out the deal because I'm an angry black woman. So then I'm just going, so you going to pay me, you can give me some money, buy me some gifts, some Gucci and some Prada and some stuff, and I'm looking fancy. Then that's it. Then if I pop out a child, okay, then that means I got you. I got you with regards to taking care, and then we always have to engage, but that does not a relationship make. And so that's where I believe we are. You can tell me no, Collette. Yes, Collette.
No,
Black
no.
women angry, Collette.
No,
I'm just
no.
asking. We're about to go to the call. I want everyone to know that because we are our whole 2 hours together. But we have to be truthful about what these conversations look like. And then to the point that you might have had, maybe, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to offend a lot of the big mamas out there, that told girls use what you got to get what you want.
Ooh.
Did you hear that? I've had conversations with more mature women who told me I wasn't necessarily in love with my husband. But at the time that I grew up, my mom told me, well, get a man that has a good job, who can take care of you. So I said, those are the only criteria? Have a job and can take care of you?
Yeah.
Now, nothing else. Like,
Yeah,
that's it.
It's troubling because it is a long-running issue from generation to generation.
Yes.
And a lot of times I feel we've subtracted ourselves from being culpable in rearing the next generation. So we just allow the situation to continue to just fester and grow into something that's out of control, and we don't want to handle it. So we're like hands off. Long as you're just living.
Yeah, you're just living. Or we got the dice. Y'all know, shake it up.
Yeah.
So however it come out. I'll Maybe the next generation will get a banner. Oh, man, we got a couple of those. Let me just, okay. Y'all, come on. Don't act like you don't know. I'm going to meet you wherever you at. I know all about that. Shit, come on, stop. So all I'm just asking is, where are you? You want to go to the lines? Let's see what the call is. Let's go to the lines. We appreciate your patience. Amazing morning to you.
Good morning.
Great morning to you.
Great morning to you also.
Thank you.
And your guest.
Thank you.
And I
Thank you.
have to echo a lot of the things that you said. And I want to give some of my own personal situations
Please.
about, because yes, I'll just tell you where I'm at now.
Okay.
You know, when you get to be 70, 80, whatever you saw back there, you give up. I mean, at least I gave up. But not give up, but you just reflect on it because you understand what you had the ability to do something about, you don't have that ability anymore. Okay. Only in conversation. But
Okay.
let me say what about men. You said and the rage in women.
Yes.
I was afraid of my wife, but when I say afraid of my wife, because I knew she had the power. I look at other young men and they don't understand that they're afraid of their wife. And they have this perception that when they brought up the culture, in other words, that you're the master, you go out and you do all these other things.
Yeah.
You know, and see, a few of them don't have involved with making children.
Okay.
They make children, but they're not involved.
Okay.
And I think that women's rage gets louder if women make
Okay.
children. Now, I'm a man, okay. I mean, he made no babies. These are not have any babies. But when you have one, you get a power that is beyond my conception and most men's conception.
All right.
You really do. If you really harness that power, this gift that you got, and you got it, you know. And this is the thing I like to say to my daughters. No, I can see. I was involved with 5 of them. I only got one that I can. Now my wife, I would not talk to my wife this way because I'm afraid of my wife.
Well,
But
stay there for a minute. And let me I want to get some clarity. You say you're afraid. Define what afraid means.
Okay, most men, I mean, including myself, you have children.
Okay.
You know who has the power? Your wife. She can put you into child support. Let's talk about money when you get the children.
Oh.
She has control over you. And there's another entity over there. If you don't take care of them babies, we're coming after you, mister. We're going to put you in jail.
Okay.
We're going to take all of your future resources.
Okay.
Whatever you thought you had, we're going to take it. And we're not going to give it to your child.
Okay, so stay there 1 second because I want us, and stay on the line because we're going to have this conversation and I want us to work with your point. And I need Rock's feedback on this. So what happened with us with this whole child support? Don't go anywhere, caller. So, because I want us to stay right there. So there's a fear that black men have children. We have children. And so because I'm not directly taking care of the child. So child support comes into play if there's some dynamic that's missing in taking care of the child. Am I not understanding?
Well, it comes into play, and now I can't answer for the caller and
Right.
his
I just want to
feelings,
get right.
as far as being afraid of his wife.
Right.
I would add to that, like most men probably are not afraid of their wives, but they're afraid of the social caste system, and that being child support.
Okay.
Social systems developed a lot of times. If it's persecuting, it's persecuting to the black male, not to benefit you, but to harm you.
Yes.
So in that way, if there's friction in the household of the African American,
Right.
Where is the divide?
Nice.
And a lot of times you can look at child support,
Yeah.
you can look at welfare.
Nice.
Those are systems that are developed to divide,
Yeah.
not to bring together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would just kind of argue and just give a little pushback that
Okay.
it's not so much afraid of black women.
Yeah. That's a great comparison. Absolutely a great contextual component to the statement because it's true. Because maybe in our anger, then we say, okay, well, guess what? So you're not going to come see the child? Or maybe the bigger question is you're not going to come see me. Because I would just put it out there on Friday because I don't have anything to lose. How's that? So you're not going to come see me. I'm mad that you're not going to come see me. I'm mad that you don't want to have a relationship with me, but you want to have a relationship with your child. And so it was fine that we were relating prior to us getting pregnant. That means sexual relations prior to us getting pregnant, and you were doing everything that you needed to do in order to make sure that you could do the things that could impregnate me. But now that we have a child, I'm not good anymore. So you just throw me away. So I got you. So now I'm going to use my power. So the power of my rage now is to bring in the white man. Bring in the white man, and that's the court and the judge. Have you ever been down to the court for child support situation?
No.
Carla, I'm gonna bring you back in a minute, but I have. So I dated a gentleman, and this is so trifling, I'm about to say this, his baby mama. Don't you hate that? But it was. He had 3 children by her, never married her. And so when we started dating, she got mad. And mind you, she's married, and she got mad and stopped letting him see his children. So for 2 years, I had to go back and play lawyer with him in the courts and her for him to be able to see his children. And to go down in that space and to see these black men who clearly are angry and afraid and not wanting to be in the system because anything could happen to them. And these black women who are kind of walking around, kind of like, it's a little swag with it. Like, I got this. The judge ain't going, blah, blah. I mean, with a bravado kind of energy. Yeah. And I'm just sitting here looking, I'm like, wow. And so now we're supposed to raise children. So we're supposed to have a commonality where we are going to agree to raise another person in this world when I have you down and I can't talk to you and you can't talk to me and I'm calling you all kinds of names. But my power is in the fact that I got you down in court. And I'm going to take any piece of money that you got to be able to, as I say, take care of this child. Man, caller, please continue. I just wanted us to put that in context and then what it looks like when we use our rage through the system to bring in an oppressive nature for the black man. A lot of people, you all might say, well, Collette, if he's not paying, what are we going to do? Well, then I want the bigger conversation is, why isn't he paying? Why won't he pay for his child? How does that work? But we're going to get there. Caller, continue.
As you're saying, I had to echo. My mother is the one that had a strong black mother. You make babies, you take care of them. She didn't say it, but I knew it. You make babies.
Right.
She made babies. You make babies. You take care. My mindset as a young man was not about making babies. It was about having sex.
Right.
The ultimate conclusion that having sex is making babies.
Right.
Okay, what are you going to do about it? I hear my mother say, what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do?
Not what are you going to make her do about it.
Right.
Not what are you going to, whatever. The blessing is when I did make children and I was blessed to evolve, that I had an opportunity that I made a woman to give her the strength. Now, how many could I touch? And that's when I said, and that would be my failures. My fear was that was not my wife's.
Okay.
We didn't have those conversations. That was not on my wife's mind. She was using the tools that I talked about. But she could have used it. She did not use it.
Okay.
We successfully, between the two of us. So we don't have a relationship now, but we have a relationship because I have a responsibility to my wife.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the strong black woman that my mother gave me. When you stand up and you say to God in this ceremony that you're gonna marry this woman forever, you have that. You may not be with her, you may not, but you do have this responsibility. You own up to your responsibility.
Amen. Well, stay there. I mean, I think at that point, did you all get what this gentleman just said? I don't want that. Did you hear what he said? Mm-hmm. He said that when you stand up before God and you make the commitment and the vow that I'm going to take care of this woman until death do us part, that is taken literally. Rock.
There's so many levels to that, but at its core,
yes.
I've said this before and I stand on it. If you call yourself a believer, if you're a man of faith, a woman of faith, and you believe that you're made in the likeness of the Creator, God Almighty Himself, that's the stance you take. There's a couple of things that you have to understand, and primarily is love. You have to understand that you're in love. You know, the Bible says that Jesus said, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you, if you're groomed in that, once again, you have to be brought up in that.
Yeah.
And truth be told, you know, when you brought up in that from a youth, you know, the Bible says, you know, train up a child in the way that he should go.
Yeah.
And when they get older, they shall not depart, right?
Yes.
So guess what? Even if you stumble along the way, as we become young men, because a lot of times we like to say, well, I was young.
Right.
I was in my 20s. I was young.
That's what, yeah.
But guess what? It's still in you, and it shouldn't depart you. And you should become wise, okay? And you should understand, guess what? I have a responsibility. That's my child. That's my wife.
Yeah.
Even if that woman yet is not my wife, I was responsible for helping us bring forth a child. So you stay in position. Man, I'm about to. I don't want to preach.
Okay, yeah, you can. Come on with it, because I'll wait for it.
Stay in position.
Stay in position.
And
that's a title, a sermon title right there.
Oh, yeah.
Stay in position.
Oh, yeah.
So if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
And all those things. See, look, I've been married for 18 years.
18 years. Bless you, wife. 18
bless
years.
her, bless her. God bless her.
Right.
Look, we have our issues, okay?
Because we're human beings, right? Okay.
But here is the deal. A lot of these other issues, like I said, I haven't been to child support court.
Right.
It is not because I'm such a great husband. It's because, you know, I'm in position. I'm doing the things that really, really matter and count. So her and I, we realized together, look, neither one of us are perfect. But we're making we're making a perfect union.
Say it. In our imperfectness. And that we're better together than we are apart. If y'all don't take anything away today, and I think that brings it full circle to where we are in our communities. It goes back to what we say, what was our first mandate after emancipation was to reincorporate the structure of family for black folk because we knew that our position mattered.
Yes.
And so now there's just a total disconnect. We're not in position. We don't believe we're better together, and black women are mad.
No.
No.
Black women are mad.
You don't think black women are mad?
No.
Nice. What do you think black women are?
Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful, strong, caring, loving. Look, anything up under the sun.
Nice.
Hey, no. I mean, everybody got rage. I'm not gonna buy into that. I'm not gonna buy into that narrative. And it is unfair that a classification of a woman, and this isn't new. Malcolm X, as you alluded to at the beginning of the show, he hit it on the head. And guess what? I'm pretty sure there's other people who've said it prior to Malcolm X. There's a reason why you pinpoint. And look, if anybody will tell you, just to use an analogy, if you got an exterminator for like pest control, and if you want to kill a pest, be it ants, bees, or whatever, you get to the colony, and what inside of the colony? You kill the queen.
The queen,
Come on now. So I'm not gonna sit here and allow certain narratives to come from outside of my community and destroy and try to tag and put labels on the black woman. No, not on my watch.
Nice.
Not gonna happen.
That's what I love. Speak rock. So please, caller, let you make your last comments, and I'm going to keep it going.
I have to applaud the young man because, and I want to say this.
Sure.
With whatever, I'm just skeptical. Being blessed to living this long, you know, everything you say, I can believe in. But then when I look at it, I look at folks and they don't see it. I mean, no, not they don't see it. It takes them a while to really smell the room. I just have to, and I say, okay, but you just keep going.
Okay, that's right.
Say thank you.
Thank you. I mean, he makes a really great point, and I think that maybe we need to get a little bit deeper in what he shared, because what you're suggesting, Rock, I mean, that takes work.
Absolutely.
That takes a pulling away of the layers.
Yes.
That takes an acceptance.
Yes.
That takes a vulnerability. That takes a transparency. That takes a removal of anything that could give you a facade for you to buy in versus my authentic self.
Yes.
And a lot of people, I believe, in my experiences, don't believe that they'll get the love if you just see them.
Oh, yeah.
So they put everything up. So it's the cars, it's the money, it's the this, it's the that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Yeah, you need it to live, but it does not a relationship make. So what's going to happen at the end of the day? When you got all this stuff, you see it all the time. People are killing themselves left and right because they're unhappy. They can't deal with pain. They don't know how to communicate. They have all the money. They have all the trappings. They have all the things, but there is a disconnect.
Yeah, yeah. And once again, you go to it being authentic, being vulnerable. Look, my wife, outside of God, my wife knows, she sees the naked me. And I don't mean just physically. I mean spiritually, okay? Emotionally. She knows what my weaknesses are. She knows what my strengths are. She knows what I battle with. She knows. So therefore, I can't. She makes me stronger in knowing that
Come on,
I
Rod.
can't pull anything over her.
Come on.
Does that make sense?
And guess what? And that you don't have to.
I don't have to.
And that you are in such a space, and I need you to speak on that. And Carl, I see we're about to get to you. I need you to speak on what you had to go through where it was okay for you to show that vulnerability and to accept that she would still be there.
Wow. The first thing that comes to my mind, this is just the first thing out of many. The biggest thing is knowing that she was there. And I don't know if that's impactful for anybody else, but for me in my life, knowing that you're there in spite of, through my mess, through my issues that I have to work and grow into and become mature, she was still there. The first thing that displeased her, she didn't leave.
Yeah.
So in other words, she withstood her own pain, her own, the Bible talks about love being long suffering. Okay? That's strength. Now that's strength. She's enduring. So even though I'm going through my pains of having to mature and grow into the man that I am today, who I am today has not always been.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't born like this.
Yeah.
Who I am today is she has been there to see me go through, and I'll be foolish to believe she didn't suffer along the way.
Yeah.
And I don't mean suffering in a physical pain, but just in like there's things where she may say to herself, like, I don't have to go through this.
Right.
But I go through it because I love you.
Say it.
And I want to be here.
Say it.
So to me, to see that, watch this now, we all can testify to people who just cut bait and just left. Like, I'm not having it. But to me, that was strength. She stayed. She's with me. And that's what matters.
Absolutely.
So that's the first thing I think about, her just being around.
Say it.
That gives me strength.
And stay there. And that you knew that even in your vulnerability and in your insecurity, you were committed to the relationship.
Yeah.
See, I think I want us to get that. That guess what? You know who you are. You know everything that makes you.
Yeah.
But in that, if I choose to love you, I don't walk away from you in my mess. So guess what? I'm here in my mess. Hey, I'm here. Guess what? But I'm right here, though. I'm still here, though. I'm talking to you right here in my mess.
Right.
Today, I don't feel very well because I'm dealing with my mess. But I'm here with you. I didn't leave you.
Yeah.
I didn't walk away from you. I didn't stop talking to you. I stayed in my mess. It don't have nothing to do with you. It's my mess. But I respect you enough to let you know that
and
I'm
you know
here.
what's interesting? Why a lot of people stay?
Yeah.
Now, I will say this because this is to the other person. Because that gives you no pass to stay in your mess and just stay in mess.
In mess. Right.
No,
Absolutely.
A lot of the time, the reason the other person stays is because they see you working in your mess. If you even get cut, look at the parable of the prodigal son.
Come on.
Where Jesus, he spoke
Come
on it.
on,
He
speak
said that, the prodigal son, when he was in the pen with the pig slop, he came to himself.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So that means something's working. He's thinking. So people can see. So then when the prodigal son finally came back, and the Bible says the father saw him afar off.
He knew it.
You see what I mean? So when people, they see it. They see it afar off that you're trying to become better. You're working on become better. But I'm going to tell y'all this. If you're not trying to become better in your mess, don't blame the black woman calling her name, saying she's mean and evil and spiteful and all these other tags. No, it's a you problem.
Say it. Get
not
Joseph.
the black woman.
Come on, Rock. Speak that. Let's go to the line. So appreciate your patience. Great, amazing morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum, Collette
Oh,
and
walaikum
Brock.
assalam.
You know, we talked on yesterday
Yes, Brother Thomas.
when we talked about that preacher at Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
The dumb bastard called black women that they can't raise a child.
Yeah.
And I said to you, he didn't mention no Orientals. They didn't mention no white women. He didn't mention no other cultures.
No.
He gonna pick out you, ourselves. Now that tells me something about him as a preacher, as the father, the keeper of the earth. And I said this to you as we talked before. Many of them are saltine crackers. I said my great aunt taught me work with the system, but never be the system.
Yeah.
But back in my day, you had Fard Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, you had Jamoje, you had the Charlie Chisholm, you had the Ida B. Wells who spilled out all the things. I'm 71 years, but all that hand-me-down information that we used to use are the balance. And we was taught, and I said this to you, Collette, and I said it to you, Rock. You're born as a male with the father's love in you. Collette, you're born with the mother's love that's in you. And one, we have to be taught that you mother yourself first. You father thyself first. And when you talk to each other, you're mothering him. He's fathering you. So once you have children, you understand the mother and the father. But first, you have to mother and father each other. Rock, we are the keeper of the earth. Collette, you are the teacher of the earth. You the natural born teacher. You the bad mama jamma. I love that when Carl Carlton when he brought out that bad mama jamma. All right, but you are the teacher. This is your gift. You give light to the world when we open to close our eyes. Here's the thing. Brother, we are the keeper. The white man has put the foot on his white woman's neck, and this is spilled down into us. Yeah. And here's when you're not owning this, why don't we have normal survival right now? Since you're the keeper of the earth, God Allah has made things simple. Brother, we are the ones supposed to take care of everything. Yeah. But also we're supposed to put her in position so that she can stand and work in case we fall. Yeah. But we as a father, you as the mother, you have been holding it down. The mother teaches the child, be with the child the majority of the time while we out working. Then we come in and we do that strong teaching, right? But we're making sure everything in order. But also, we both give each other the balance. We are not the dictators. Right. You are designed to take care of each other, mother and father each other. Understand that father's love. Understand that mother's love. It's not there. You have too much anger, and they say it's this and that, the man this, the man that. Allah didn't put you on this earth to be alone because the mother of the earth is the one that helps you to grow. You cannot grow without the mother seed. I don't care whether it's the human or the animals, the birds, the insects, the vegetables that comes out of the earth. The female seed is there for you to grow. Don't disrespect her gift. Don't tell me that, she don't matter. Yeah. Because she studied teaching. Even when you're in the house together, she is the teacher. My wife will help me get through all my things that I've gone through, okay? Because she always there to mother us and to teach us, because she's a teacher. Yeah. Don't blame her because Allah gave her a great gift. That's her gift. And our gift is to be just who He is, the keeper of the earth. Be who you are and take care of her and take control of who you are. Now let's go to that welfare and that disability, Social Security issue. I understand what you did for your father, but some of these people have misused that system.
Yeah. Brother Thomas, hold on. This is what I wanted to do. Brother Thomas, hold on. This is what I wanted to do.
The system has multiplied.
Brother Thomas, this is what I wanted to do. Hold on.
Now.
Brother Thomas, hold on 1 second. I'm up against a break, so hold on. All the other lines are lit. You all don't go anywhere. We're going to go to a break. Rock, is that all right?
That's
We're going to go in and make sure we make that happen. Don't go anywhere, callers. We'll be right back to continue the conversation, all right? More coffee and conversation after the break.